Welcome to SBI Stoppage Time. Mike Nastri, Ives, Galarcep here after the United States men's national team lost to Brazil 2-0 in their first international friendly since the World Cup. Ives, what did you think of their performance?
Well, it's hard to take a lot of positives out of it. I think they started well. First 20 to 25 minutes, they had a couple of chances that they needed to put one of them away, but unfortunately for them, they didn't. And as soon as Brazil found their rhythm, they pretty much toyed with the U.S. defense, and the United States just was unable to keep the ball. And the more Brazil had it, the more they created chances. And the star of the show tonight was without a doubt Neymar, the teenage sensation. He toyed with the U.S. defense and scored a goal and could have scored 3 tonight.
Speaking of the young Brazilian, a couple young Americans got their first national team exposure tonight. Bedoya gets his first start, Gonzalez his first cap. What did you think of their performances?
Well, I'd say Omar Gonzalez, for a central defender to play his first game against Brazil, it's a tall task, but I thought he actually held up pretty well. He didn't make any glaring mistakes. He was beaten for pace a few times, and on the second goal, he might have been able to do a little better if him and Bocanegra had their timing down, but I think for a first cap and to have it come against Brazil, I thought he held up pretty well. As far as Alejandro Bedoya, I don't think he did well tonight. I think he struggled with the speed of the game. I don't think he was able to get into the attack well. It's probably a bit of a forgettable night, but if anything, you can chalk it up to experience because he's definitely one of the talented young wingers in the national team system.
And finally, Ives, what's next for the U.S. national team?
Well, I think right now it's kind of a wait-and-see approach, waiting to see what happens with Bob Bradley. You know, they're still waiting to see what happens as far as negotiations with his new contract, if he'll get a new contract from U.S. Soccer. Their friendlies upcoming in October, and right now we don't know if he'll be the coach or not. And if he is the coach, I think you might see some more new faces in October. And if he's not the coach, there's really no way to know what will happen.
And real quick, do you think that that's resolved before those friendlies in October? Or do you think that this waits out until the end of his contract at the end of 2010?
It wouldn't shock me if it's not resolved until after those friendlies in October. In an ideal world, they sign a deal, they get a deal done, and Bradley, either he's retained or they have a new coach hired before those friendlies to give the new coach a chance to have a few games before the new year with the pool, or have Bradley have a new contract, and so the team can kind of have a direction going forward for 2011.
That's it for this edition of Stoppage Time. For Ives, Galarcep, and Mike Nastri. We'll catch you next time on soccerbyives.net.